And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. Glad you all could be with us. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. For those tuning in on the Amazon Live side, welcome back to you guys. Have another great guest coming up for you guys for our interview series today here on Amazon Live. So if you guys are new to our broadcast, make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You'll see it either here in this corner or down below. Also, you will see today's guest book. We're excited to welcome Andrew Minott back to our program today. He's the author of This Book, Prove I'm Wrong. A lot of great layers to this book. We talked about some of that last week and the topic of fatherhood. Today, we're going to talk about his relationship with music. So definitely want you guys, if you have any questions for Andrew, make sure you guys do put those in the chat. Also want to welcome those tuning in on Facebook, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. Glad you all can join us as well. But Andrew, welcome back to the broadcast, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Hey, glad to do it. So, Andrew, the thing is, when we were setting this conversation up for this next several weeks, the cool thing about your book is there's so many topics we can talk about. I mean, in
Yeah,
here.
no, there's
I
a lot
mean,
of things I've done. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we started off by talking about fatherhood and that role for you, both as a son yourself, but also as a father. Today, we're going to talk about something that is very big in your life, which is the topic of music. So I think it should be, first of all, for our audience that don't know, music is something that's kind of part of your family. So kind of talk about your relationship with music. When did you first realize that connection with music, Andrew?
I first realized it when basically I risked my job. I was 17 and I got fired because of a concert that was in Jamaica at the time, Reggae Sunsplash. And I wanted to see my cousin. And with my ex. And I stayed out the whole night. Um, when fire was where you know
Okay, Andrew, you're breaking up there. I'm having some problems hearing you there.
can you hear that?
Yeah,
Can you hear me better?
it's still okay. Okay, yeah, yeah. I think it's better now. I think it's better now. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. You can hear me.
yeah. I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. And then basically, I migrated to the U.S. and hip productions. And then basically, I learned that his heritage was also Jamaican.
Hmm.
But then I went back to Jamaica in '91 and hooked up with my cousin Sugar Minott. And then he gave me the speech of, you better really love music. If you want to do this, make sure it's something that you really love to do and then go from there.
Hmm.
Because if you don't truly love it, it's so corrupted and so all the stuff that comes with music, you will really start to hate people. So it's make sure it's something that you really truly love to do. And basically,
Yeah.
I listened to his words, I hear his words, and pretty much I started doing music after that. That was like back in '91.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think too. Here's the thing, Andrew, about this. Again, we've been talking about how the title of the book "Prove I'm Wrong" can be used in so many different ways. We talked about last week when it came to fatherhood, and how, of course, you proven them wrong as to what they thought you would be able to achieve or what you'll be able to do. The title comes up in this week's conversation when it comes to music because one of the things you show in the book is that you have to prove yourself to others as to what you could do as a music promoter, but also when it came to those who did not mean you well, those who basically were stealing from you. When it came, you talked about the counterfeit ticket situation that happened with you, but also those who got to know you that may have had their own thoughts about who you were. What was that like for you to see how proving them wrong showed itself in the music industry?
Nobody thought I could do what I did. Nobody did. It was always a
Hmm.
struggle to actually get involved in music, doing concert promotions. Everybody thought it was like I was just doing it because, okay, my last name is Minot and I'm related to Sugar Minot and all that. It was like I had to go really deep and be successful to even people think like I was going to do this.
Hmm.
Because my first major concert, I was the first promoter to ever bring Sean Paul to the United States. So the
Mm.
first time Sean Paul ever did a concert in the US back in '97, I brought him here. And no, Sean Paul is like, the rest is history. But even his manager was like, why you want Sean on the show like this? Because it's just, I just saw certain things about him and I figured that he's going to be really big. And I
Right.
wanted that, and another artist that a lot of people may know that he's locked up right now named Vibes Cartel. The first time he came to Miami in 2000, I brought him here when nobody virtually didn't know who he was. So I've always looked into artists and talent from a different perspective than most people, and
Yeah.
say, you know what? The same way nobody gave me a chance, I give people a chance that didn't have one, and it
Right.
became successful for them. So I've always looked at things like that, though. So in that perspective, I still prove people wrong to that point.
Yeah. And you talk about that. I want to read something you wrote in the book, Andrew. Hello to you, Ellen, who's joining us on the Facebook side. Appreciate you being with us. You say this for those who have the print edition of the book, Andrew. Again, we're talking about Prove 'em Wrong, everyone. It's available in paperback as well as a Kindle edition here on Amazon. But you say this on page 31. I just wanted to do music so bad. Everybody was telling me that I couldn't get it done. I think that because it was just me, Andrew Minott, husband, father, son, brother, I had this hunger to do the music, to do the concert, to prove to everybody, including myself, that I was smart enough to do it, even as I was winging it. I want to talk about that because you were given some great opportunities, like with another artist that our audience knows, Beanie Man. Talk about that because you say you weren't just having to prove it to yourself, Andrew. I mean, but you had to prove it to other people. What was it like for you to tell yourself, you know what, I can do this, even if other people think I can't?
Yeah, Beanie Man, when I got him on that concert, nobody thought I could get him because Beanie Man would only come to Miami for certain promoters. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, I was an unknown. And when they said, you can't get Beanie Man, you can't get him, I was like, yes, I can. And I'm going to show you I can get him. And I went to Jamaica and I met with Mr. Morrison. And then he got Beanie Man, like, made a phone call and it was done. And it was done.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with Beanie, it was a done deal, just like that. And
Yeah.
then I was the first time Beanie Man went to an WEDR, the station in Miami, 99 Jams. I took him there. That's when DJ
Mm-hmm.
Khaled was working at 99 Jams. So the first time
Wow.
Beanie Man ever went to that radio station, I took him there too. That was back in
Wow.
'98. So a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
I did the first time, I knew back then, like I knew Khaled way back then, I knew Pitbull way back when. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things that happened in Miami, I was instrumental in the beginning of it. But it's like I always had to be proving myself to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, but I have to always be doing that.
Mm-hmm. And you had to walk an interesting balancing act, Andrew. I was kind of messing with you about something you wrote in the book about some things were going to be for another book. You didn't want to get into it and prove them wrong. But when it came to the industry, unfortunately, there is a dark side to it. We see today in the world we're living in today the problems that this one prominent ticket distributor has been having with high profile tickets and having issues with counterfeit tickets. You ran into that as a concert promoter as well. Talk about what that was like for you because we see another side of you come out, when you realize literally people are taking from you. What was it like for you to think about all the hard work you're putting in, but also those who were just trying to take from you at that time?
Man, that when I wrote that part in the book, it brought back so much terrible memories
Mm-hmm.
because when I wrote in the book, I actually thought I was gonna kill that guy
Mm-hmm.
because I was at when the venue was like three-quarters capacity full, and the guy that was running the ticket master, he said to me, "I have some bad news." I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Probably half a quarter of the people there came in on bogus tickets." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he showed me the tickets. I was like, "Oh my god!" Then people were walking up with three, four tickets that were bogus tickets. I said, "Look, I can't let you in." So I lost that money. So the people that bought the bogus tickets just went back home. So I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even get that money. And I saw the guy that was selling tickets, and I rushed him. And by the time I had my gun on me, and I took it out and I slammed the guy and he fell on the ground, and I pulled the gun out, and I don't know what, but the cops were standing right there. They're like, what's going on? What's going on? I was like, he just robbed me, and they were like, the cops were like about 7, 8 cops were right there, and I just never cared.
Yeah.
And they grabbed the guy and they arrested him, and another guy was across the street that chased after him. It was really bad, and phew, I didn't go into a lot about those details of that, but it
Right.
was really bad though. It was really bad at that day.
Yeah. So I want to talk. The reason why I bring that up, Andrew, and thank you for sharing that. The reason why I wanted to bring that up is because our audience knows what it's like to have something horrible happen in their lives when they're trying to pursue their goals and their dreams. Maybe not as drastic as that type of situation you were faced with, but 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 hey, it may have felt like that to them, Andrew. It may have felt like that. But I want to ask you, what kept you moving forward in spite of that? Because as you know, if that had happened to some people, they would have just said, you know what, forget this. I'm not going to be doing this. What is it that helped you to be able to regroup and keep going?
My love, and it goes back to that first conversation I had with my cousin when he said to me, "Make sure you truly love this if you're gonna
Hmm.
do it." And it goes back to that because I wasn't doing it for a hustle or doing it just for money. I was doing it for the culture. I was doing it for the people that wanted to see these events. I was just doing it for everything. So that's when I know I truly loved it. That regardless of all the obstacles and the negative things that happened, I still pushed through and did it. And after that, 2 years after that, was the most successful show. To this day, it's the most successful Caribbean like a reggae show ever held in Miami. The show that we
Mm.
did in 2003. To this day, we had over
Yeah,
30,000 people, and that show caused a lot of other promoters to do concerts in Miami. But I just persevered through it all. So it wasn't easy, I can tell you that. But I persevered and I kept on doing it till I got it done.
yeah. Such a great point. Again, for those who are just tuning in, you all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. Top rated. Hello to you on the Amazon Live side. He says, that sounds intense. It is a powerful book on Top Rated. Again, we're talking to Andrew Minott today. His book is called Prove 'em Wrong. It's available here on Amazon, both in print as well as the Kindle edition. It is down in the carousel there. We're talking with him because we're actually doing a series with him. This is week 2 of our series. Last week we talked about what he wrote in the book about fatherhood, both as a son himself, but also as a father. Today, we're talking about music, his career as a music promoter. So, the other thing I want to talk to you about when it comes to this, Andrew, on a lighter note, and really, I think a happier note, are the relationships. What was that like for you to reflect on the relationships you were able to form? I mean, someone that all of our audience knows these days is a big award winner this year, Shirley Ralph. You talk about your interaction with her. I mean, what is that like? Let's talk about her for a second. What has that been like for you to see someone who is literally, you couldn't have timed this book any more perfect, Andrew, with everything happening in her life? You have her here in your book. What was it like for you to kind of reflect on meeting her and being able to interact with her?
Wow, it was a wild moment, to be honest. I met her back in 2000
Hmm.
because I was going to Reggae Sumfest in Jamaica, and we were at a hotel, and I was there with Red Rat, the artist, and Spragga Benz. They were also on the concert, so we were at a hotel together, and she was in the hotel. So I said hi, and then I was like, "That's Shirley Ralph," and they said, "Yeah, that's her." So the next day, I saw her again, like the same night, and she was there. She was going to the event, and then the following night, I saw her backstage, and I was like, and I started talking to her and stuff, and she was looking at me, but she was telling me that she loved Beanie Man, that Beanie Man is her favorite artist. I was like, really? And I, okay, all right, cool. So because I knew Beanie Man really well,
Yeah.
Beanie Man was walking in backstage at the same time. So I told Beanie Man, I said, yo, go talk to her real quick. So when Beanie Man started rubbing her shoulders and stuff, started massaging her shoulders, and she looked and she said, oh my God. And she looked at me and was like, who are you? And I said, Andrew, that's it. And she was like, she just got, then we just started talking. And from then, we just kept in touch. And she came back to Miami and we did, she came for a party for Halle Berry. That's
Hmm.
when she was married to Eric Benet. And I came, we went to the party together and we got really friendly. And then we just started we started kicking it,
Yeah.
basically, and we were very good friends. We were very good friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to another event with her with Elizabeth Taylor. I talk about that in the book also with Whoopi Goldberg, a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
celebrities out in Los Angeles,
Right.
and we had some really good times. She hosted that same show in 2001 when the counterfeit ticket. She hosted that show for me. And I talk about in the book. She was so upset when I put a picture next to DJ Khaled's picture on the flyer, and she was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, you put me on the flyer next to a DJ, huh?" I said, "What?" And she was all bent out of shape for that. And look at it now, DJ Khaled is huge. So I'm happy for her, though. I truly am.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of great things happening, and you have a lot to be able to be happy about. You share some clippings. I want to share those with our audience from the Navy to the music waves. You include that in the book. Some articles about you, Andrew, that appeared in the press. Also, you show some of the artists that you were able to work with as well. Some of those are in the book. What was it like for you to kind of reflect on that? Some of the acts you've been able to bring to the stage, but also those relationships. What has that been like for you to reflect on your career?
To this day, I still have really great relationships with all these artists. We still have really good relationships. It's always a good thing. But if I'd taken pictures with everyone I would have had pictures for days. But I was never the
Right.
type of person that take a lot of pictures like that. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times I'm like talking to somebody, like the picture with Capleton. I'm talking to him and someone say, "Hey, take a picture." So most of the pictures that I have is like that. Like I'm talking to an artist about something and someone take a picture, like just a candid camera type of thing. But
Right.
I've never been the person like, "Oh, let's go take a picture." I've never really done that. Else I would have had tons of pictures. Even the picture with me and Leon, the actor Leon,
Mm-hmm.
we were at an awards ceremony when I was nominated for Promoter of the Year, and Leon was there, and we were just talking, and someone took that picture too. So a lot of times, it just happened like that. But I've built a lot of relationships over the years, and to this day, me and all those artists are pretty good friends.
Yeah. So, what do you normally say to people then? Again, this is why this is such a great conversation for us to have, Andrew, because you're in a unique position to be able to talk to those who are interested in being a part of the music business, those who are looking to be promoters, those who are looking to work with artists. What do you normally tell those coming down the ranks or who come to you for advice? What do you normally say to them? Do you mirror the same advice that you got about making sure you have the love for it?
Exactly. I tell everybody the same thing. Even to this day, my sons have friends that want to be rappers and music. I always say to them, make sure you really love to do this. And they look at me crazy too, but I say, look, because you will never get success immediately like you think you will, no matter how talented you think you are. It
Mm,
won't come overnight. And you also have to have the money to back it because nobody wants to do anything for free. So everyone wants that, but just make sure you have that true love for it, and it will work out. But you got to persevere because it's not going to come overnight. But you
right.
got to persevere. It took me a while, but I kept at it though.
Yeah. And now here you are again, another great conversation here with you, Andrew. And again, showing how this book is something that can appeal to so many different audiences. You and I talked about this very thing when you and I had our first conversation together. There's so many different areas. Like I mentioned last episode, we talked about fatherhood, your role as a son and as a father. Today, we're talking about your love of music. Of course, next week, we're going to be talking about your relationship with your emotions because you do show that a lot in this book. The way you dealt with your emotions, good and not so good sometimes. Uh, so we're going to be talking about that next week. So, what do you want people to know, Andrew, who are just learning about the book? Again, we have it highlighted on the Amazon Live side. Invite our audience to be able to get it added to their weekend reads, either the Kindle edition they can start reading today or to the print edition. When they pick up the book, what do you hope it does for them?
It You will always find something that you can reflect on,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been through so many things in my life. Like I've been an immigrant. I came to Jersey, got in trouble, joined the military, single father, fight for my kids. I've it's like been there, done that.
Mhm.
So I'm sure there's something in this book that someone can reflect to. Like I said, that young lady that said she bought it by mistake, but she glad she did because it gets her to understand how her father was, because she's also of Caribbean descent.
Mm.
So I know if you just pick the book up, because it's a good read. Everyone says that. So it flows. A lot of people always say I should make a movie out of it, but I wait to hear from 50 Cent on that.
Well, look, it would not surprise me. And look, you would have no shortage of cameos. I'm sure DJ Khaled and Beanie Man. I'm sure they would love to play themselves in the movie for sure. Andrew, again, everyone, Andrew Minott is our guest. The book is "Prove 'Em Wrong." You can get it again here on Amazon, both the print like I have here or the Kindle edition of it. Andrew, how can our audience stay connected with you, man?
They can always find me on all social media handles at Drew Minot on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. All all my handles are the same, Drew Minot. And you can go on my website, anchorminot.com, and you can find me there. You can get the book on Amazon, and it's ready and available.
There you go. Andrew, another great chat with you, man, as I knew it was going to be. Safe travels to you. And we thank you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. Also, those who are tuning in on Facebook, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. If you guys would like to be able to get your copy of the book, the link is actually to Amazon, is actually with this broadcast. Just click over there. You can be able to get the book for yourself. Until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying thank you all so much for joining us for Cyrus Webb Presents. We'll see you back here next time. Take care.
Thanks. Peace.